Now I am. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the show. This is the Stephen D. Kelley Show. My name is Stephen D. Kelley. It is August 22nd, 2019. It is now 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. East Coast, USA. And this is Truth Cat Radio. And I think I have a special show for you tonight. And first of all, as you know, as I say every time, I never know what these things are going to be. And I kind of think seems like I wait until the last second and ideas filter in and they start to conflict with other ideas. And next thing you know, things start connecting and suddenly you realize why you had that thought and what it was that you were supposed to learn and convey. So when I tell you that this stuff is all inspired, it really is, because it just continues right up until showtime. It keeps pouring in. In fact, the closer we get to showtime, the more interesting the stuff is that pours in. Sometimes I don't even understand why am I talking about a subject until it starts to congeal. And the other thing, of course, is that I know that the content that I produce is not sexy or glamorous or showy. Doesn't have a lot of marketing hype going on. It's certainly not chasing after key phrases and words that the public seems to be infatuated with at the moment, like so many of the pundits seem to do. Hey, Jeffrey Epstein did this. Oh, did you see that hole in the ground? Anyway, no. And of course, someday in the future, maybe, God willing, people will look back and they'll listen to this stuff and they'll go, wow, this is golden. Anyway, I think the last show is pretty cool. All right, the title of the show tonight is John Bull, Waterloo, and the Curse of Individuality. Now, needless to say, I'm going to regurgitate a little bit from some of the information that we talked about last week, because I think it's important that I expand upon these concepts a little further, because it seems to be becoming obvious to me that this is an area that is of key importance to the success of our mission. And that, of course, is the concept of unity and the homogeneity, if you will, the lack of polarity, and the ability of all of us to work together to accomplish these fantastic, great things that we need to accomplish. Now, right away, I wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to continue with this need for people to start thinking about ourselves as a group as opposed to this individual thing, because I realize that it's been foisted on us, and a lot of the ideas I'm going to talk about, or at least I'm going to try to illustrate tonight, go back hundreds of years. So that being said, it's safe to say that I'm trying to undo a good 200 years of programming. So it's nobody's fault that this is the way we think, and this is what's been done to make us think this way, and this is the reason why we're in the situation we're in today. So I guess I'll start with John Bull, since that's the first key word in my title tonight. Now, John Bull is a character, a caricature, a symbol. He's sort of like the English version of Uncle Sam, whereas Uncle Sam is a tall, skinny guy with white hair and a little funny goatee and a tall hat with stars and stripes and that sort of thing. John Bull is a fat guy, real fat guy, very coarse, common, oafish character, kind of an everyman. And this caricature evolved into the symbol of England and everything English. It's important for us to talk about this caricature because not only was this a cartoon, featured in pamphlets and the printed material of the time, but it served some extremely important purposes, so much so that this caricature became representative of England and everything English. Now, as some people like to point out, Uncle Sam is sort of a patriarch, sort of a leader, sort of a boss, the big daddy, the guy that tells you what to do and makes you do what you have to do, and is one you have to pay your taxes to, and all this sort of thing. Whereas this John Bull guy, who started out as a bull, this started out in something like 1712, I think it was, when the caricature first appeared. As I said, it was originally a bull who was wearing an outfit with a big Union Jack on his waistcoat, I guess they call it. Or not a waistcoat, but a vest. They wore those vests, you know. Gangs of New York, if you haven't seen it, see it. You'll learn all about the importance of a man's vest. But he evolved into this character who was a big, fat, oafish guy with a big nose and what have you. Now, he took on a few different personifications over the years. Obviously, it changed. But what struck me most about this particular character was during the period of time when the English were fighting against the French during the, this was up until after Waterloo. Certainly, Napoleon was a central figure in a lot of the caricatures that were printed. But the French have certainly been an adversary of the English for a long time, and certainly in these propaganda, morale-boosting cartoons that they used to feature in these, whatever it was, pamphlets, it was always something that would belittle the enemies of England. Now, again, the first thing that really struck me about this John Bull character was that he was extremely vulgar, you know, farting and doing all sorts of, they love to depict John Bull as defecating on the French, things like this. He was a racist. He was constantly pictured leading a black person in chains or subjugating various races of entities, such as countries under the dominion of England. At this time, this would have been Egypt, South Africa, obviously China, et cetera, quite a few of these different countries. And in Ireland, of course, naturally, was also depicted. Scotland was depicted also as a sister of John Bull. They called her Peg. But Ireland was depicted as an adversary, kind of like a little leprechaun that John Bull would always be sitting on or something. But the point is that these cartoons, they were the memes of their time. Now try to understand, not only was there no internet, I know, shock, you guys, you can't even imagine what it could possibly be like without an internet, but imagine what it was like before any other communication other than something that was printed on a crude printing press and distributed. Fortunately, they had advanced technology and they were able to use color in some of these things, but that obviously was something that was close to fine art. Well, John Bull, of course, in Britain, which was, of course, the superpower of the time, was used to control the masses. They did this by trying to boost morale. John Bull was always portrayed as being a superhuman, invincible caricature capable of devouring whole French ships and defecating upon Frenchmen and making them plead for mercy and things like this. And as I said, it was quite racist, and I think maybe perhaps the fact that this character was supposed to be relatively stupid and unrefined made it seem like it was okay for this caricature to be doing these things. Obviously, by today's standards, most of these caricatures would be considered extremely racist naturally. But the thing is that in their day, they were used quite effectively, and they still are, because the concept of John Bull is certainly alive and well in the concept of what is England and everything English. But the reason why it really kind of pissed me off was because the people that created these cartoons and the people that printed these cartoons and used these cartoons are the same people that are doing the same thing today with the bullshit media that we have today. And the parallels with the politicians and the players and the methodology of their propaganda is very, very similar. And you can see if you go back 200 years, almost 300 years, 300 years, easily, it hasn't changed a whole lot. Now, I saw a recent picture, not a recent picture, but it was a standard picture. I think it was some art that they were using in World War I, depicting John Bull trying to encourage men to join the army and go off to war in World War I. And I swear this guy looked like Donald Trump. And I thought about it and I said, holy shit. Donald Trump is a modern John Bull. He's an everyman. He's rude. He's obnoxious, seemingly invincible, doesn't give a shit what the other guy thinks. He's racist. All these things. So I did a little research into the artist of the caricature, and of course it went back to the 1700s, so certainly there isn't any one artist. Over the years it's changed. But one of the more important artists of the whole timeline was a Scotsman. Actually, he was English, but his father was a captured Scotsman. I think this was back, this was during the time of Napoleon or something like this. But Gilroy, I think it was his name. I don't have his information in front of me. But the point is that I keep looking for a Masonic, Illuminati, something connection. Of course, the Illuminati didn't officially start until 1776, and John Bull was pretty big in 1710. But I suspect that this Gilroy guy, whose roots go back to Scotland, kind of like Donald Trump, Scottish Rite Mason, that maybe that was what was going on, because, we're always looking for this, connection with the media. Now, what happened with a war with England and France? England talked so much shit through their little character, John Bull. They called Napoleon Boney, little Boney. They like to depict these guys as little nobodies that were extremely afraid of English cannonballs and English Navy. But anyway, so what happened? Well, the war with Napoleon was eventually ended at Waterloo. And England, of course, certainly wasn't the primary player in the event. Obviously, there were others involved, like Russia. It was certainly also depicted in these cartoons. But the bottom line is, when Napoleon was defeated, the agents of the Rothschild family reported in London that Napoleon had actually defeated Wellington. And their stock market crashed because there was a sell-off. People trying to dump their assets so they could flee. And then what happened? The Rothschilds, who knew that that was all bullshit, came in, swept in, bought everything up for nothing. And then in comes the news that, oh, wait a minute, we were wrong. Napoleon has indeed been defeated. And everyone goes, whoops, what? Wait, say what? Too late. England now belongs to the Rothschilds. So what did you English do? Well, let's see here. If you're anything like John Bull, you probably didn't do shit because you didn't know any better and you were drunk and you were too illiterate to realize that you'd been fucked over by the people who created the cartoon. And we've all been suffering ever since. Thank you very much. Especially here in the United States since 1776, we've been getting fucked by your Bank of England. Thank you very much. And it's all because you guys allowed yourselves to sell out everything and get duped by some merchants who happen to take over your bank and then take over your country. Thank you very much. Scourge of the World is now in charge because you guys screwed up. And why? Because you thought you were John Bull. Every man, tough, invincible, stupid idiot, oaf, obnoxious scum who somehow could overcome anybody by his sheer size and strength. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Huh. Anyway, you're still thinking like that. Only now, here we are in the United States. Well, let me go back to this creator. I forgot to mention, there's that guy Gilroy. There's something that he said, and this is important because it applies to us today. I'll try my best to get his words right. But he basically said, he came to understand that the secret to an Englishman was that they always had to have something to moan about. The secret to controlling them was giving them something to moan about, something to bitch about. A bad guy to go wah, 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 wah. So, here we have the Rothschilds taking over your country, but you're over here, wham, wham, hey, Boney, yeah, come and get some Boney, you know, little Napoleon. You French are nothing, we shit on you. Meanwhile, the Rothschild family has taken over your country, France, Germany, everybody else. Eventually, the United States, obviously. So, thank you very much for that. And, you know, UK, yellow vests, whatever. What are you waiting for? That's the enemy. Also, Trump fans, that's the enemy. It's the same enemy. Well, this whole idea of giving people something to moan about, where do we see that? Everywhere, right? Everywhere. Obviously, a big part of the show tonight is talking about the propaganda used to promote politicians as well as to market goods and generally extract money from people and control them, get them to go to war. I wanted to talk about Napoleon too because Napoleon was really good at motivating. And some of the things that he said, I'm going to read some of his quotes because you'll be surprised to learn it's a lot of the things, quotations you take for granted actually did come from Napoleon. But this concept of a society that works together versus one that is working under this concept of individuality, groups of individuals that you can't tell them what to do, and they're always right, and they're tough, and they're ready to fight you, and all that kind of crap. Kind of like John Bull. Even though John Bull represented the masses, which at the time was the UK, or the mighty Kingdom of England back in the day, very similar to the United States. The character that they used was still this everyday guy, not one of them. Kind of like Trump again, huh? One of us. Not a regular politician, but a businessman. Well, John Bull, what was he? Originally, he started out, he was a farmer. He was supposed to be a farmer, but he progressed into some top hat wearing slob who liked to eat chips and drink. Shit on French. But today we've got the same plague, which is this ability of our enemies to convince people that they're special and that they're individuals and that their ideas and thoughts and feelings matter. Nobody can tell them what to do. They have freedom of speech, that kind of thing. I hear that a lot. Hey, we have freedom of speech. They say that on Facebook. It's pretty funny. No, you don't. Sorry. Anyway. Now, if you look at the protocols, and if you haven't, hurry up and do it. And if you have, look at them again. Obviously, this stuff was written back in the Civil War, and they reference the technology that was available. They talk a lot about the printing presses and the ability to disseminate information through pamphlets and newspapers and this sort of thing. Of course, pamphlets naturally were the stuff that the stupid people got, the average people, the schmoes, the everyman. And those pamphlets were kind of like going on Facebook or looking some stupid magazine or even a commercial in between your favorite television program. That would have been like the pamphlet. And of course, like these cartoons, which were essentially political cartoons, they were single panel, usually colored drawings with some text stuck in there as usually were the speech balloons, I guess, with this different characters featuring John Bull or whoever, whatever. I'm going to feature some of those cartoons in the video here. But as I said, those were the memes of the day, and they were intended to reach out and occupy the minds of simple people who didn't think very much, who were struggling, who had low self-esteem, who needed these stupid cartoons to make them feel superior and to pump them up and give them hope. Hope is very, very important. It's one of the things that Napoleon says. He talks about that. I think this is a good opportunity to read some Napoleon quotes. I didn't find the Napoleon quote I wanted to. Before I read these Napoleon quotes to you, I'm going to paraphrase the one that I was looking for. But basically in it, he says that you can't motivate people to risk their lives for just money or status. It has to be something far greater, like honor or duty or something of this, something for the country, something much larger than themselves. So remember that, because when we motivate people, that's what we need. Now, obviously, that's what the Getty is. I shouldn't have to point that out. But let's just look at some of these quotations. Here you go. Once you have made up your mind, stick to it. There is no longer any if or but. Remember, you become strong by defying defeat and by turning loss and failure into success. Let France have good mothers, and she will have good sons. Death is nothing but to live defeated, and inglorious is to die daily. Here's a good one. I would kiss a man's ass if I needed him. The fool has one great advantage over a man of sense. He is always satisfied with himself. Never interrupt an enemy when he is making a mistake. Great ambition is the passion of a great character. Those endowed with it may perform very good or very bad acts. All depends on the principles which direct them. Friends must always be treated as if one day they might be enemies. Nothing is more difficult and therefore more precious than to be able to decide. Here's a good one. Until you spread your wings, you'll have no idea how far you can fly. Impossible is a word found only in the dictionary of fools. Here's a good one for Donald Trump. Riches do not consist in the possession of treasures, but in the use made of them. You must not fight too often with one enemy, or you will teach them all your art of war. History is a set of lies agreed upon. History is a set of lies agreed upon. That must be my dyslexia. Here's one of my favorite. The stupid speak of the past, the wise of the present, and fools of the future. Here's another good one. A society without religion is like a vessel without a compass. One must change one's tactics every 10 years if one wishes to maintain one's superiority. There are only two forces that unite men: fear and interest. Let's see. A leader is a dealer in hope. We walk faster when we walk alone. A true man hates no one. The surest way to remain poor is to be an honest man. What's the reverse of that? If that's true, what does that mean? Take time to deliberate. But when the time for action has arrived, stop thinking and go. If you wish to be success in the world, promise everything, deliver nothing. What does that say about successful people? There you go. This is the best one, probably the most valuable quote of anything that Napoleon has said. I think this could apply to everybody, and anyone listening should benefit from taking this to heart. He said, "A woman laughing is a woman conquered." And of course, everybody's heard this one. If you want a thing done well, do it yourself. And he who fears being conquered is sure of defeat. We must laugh at a man to avoid crying for him. And the last one, imagination rules the world. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that, but obviously a lot of people would suggest that he was a horrible man, and I'm only using him as a contrast to this caricature of John Bull, who represented this culture that claims to have defeated him and taken over, and the results of that defeat we're all suffering from. But it would appear, when I look at these other cultures, once again, that I suspect one of the things Napoleon was able to do that enabled France to do what they did and conquer the countries that they did conquer, because remember, they were relatively outnumbered compared to the troops that they were up against. The Battle of Waterloo, they were quite a bit outnumbered. Anyway, they did it through motivation, use of propaganda, use of symbols, use of ideas, use of words, use of images, obviously art. But mostly it was ideas, okay? And great causes, grand things. Germany, of course, is similar with respect to that because obviously Hitler certainly did a good job of that. And if you know anything about Germany, you'll know that the people are somewhat proud of their homogenous character, and they do things like sweep the gutters in front of the house. This is a German thing. You know, actually we do that. We're kind of anal about this, and they all work together. You know, when there's a stop in the road, they don't just sit there in their cars. Everybody pulls over. That way, if an emergency vehicle needs to get through, they can. But, you know, that's called cooperation. It's because idiots don't go against the society cultural rules. People know better than to do something stupid, which everyone else would disagree with. We don't seem to have that here. We have instead law enforcement that forces people to do the right thing. Otherwise, they get their asses kicked, which is kind of a fucked up way of doing things. Japan is also famous for having a culture that's obviously homogenous and somewhat efficient and has been able to do great things with relatively small amounts of resources. But obviously, they've deteriorated and been destroyed by these forces, the same forces that basically took over England after the defeat of Napoleon. So let's look at Donald Trump here, the modern John Bull. He certainly looks like John Bull with his physique. Certainly acts like it. Of course, you could say he's an everyman because he eats McDonald's and shit like that. But well, some of those of us that know better. But to the rest of you, yeah, he's kind of crude. He's sort of a slob. He's not exactly one of these blue blood types like a Kennedy or somebody, but obviously he's most known for his crudeness, his bluntness, blunt way of speaking, his ridiculous hair, almost clownish, kind of like John Bull. Well, the divisiveness, the constantly focusing on things to moan about, piss about, the deriding of the enemies, the finger pointing, slovenly attitudes, stupid ideas. These are all very similar. Well, it worked really great for making the masses of unwashed voters feel good about themselves and go to war and do things that need to be done. A good example of one of the things that took place during the period of time that John Bull was really popular in the newspapers and funnies was England took possession of the Elgin marbles, which of course was a bunch of stolen artifacts from Greece that they got hoodwinked into actually exchanging money for. They did this at a time when people were starving. It was ridiculous. And now, of course, everybody knows that the property was stolen and they need to return it. Of course, they don't want to. But that's a good example of another abuse, kind of like the abuses we have today. I still see people telling us that we have such a great economy, and yet we have a $1.101 trillion deficit tacked on to the money that we have to spend, that he wants to spend, that he plans on spending next year. This is the greatest deficit of history. That's our 2020 deficit. Of course, this is all going to Big Pharma. Actually, even more is going to Big Pharma. More like 4 trillion. Yeah, did I say billion? Yeah, $1.101 trillion deficit, excuse me. But point is that it's a little bit ruinous, okay? It's a little ruinous. Kind of like what happened when the Rothschilds bought everything up, when everything took a big old shit. Now remember, John Bull was used to pump everybody up and keep everybody propped up until the last second. Why wasn't John Bull being used to educate people about the Rothschilds and the fiendish Bank of England and all that horrible stuff, instead of, oh, those French, sounds sort of like, oh, those Arabs, oh, those Muslims, oh, those Mexicans, oh, those Koreans, whatever, whoever they don't like at the time, those gays, those transgenders, what else is it? Those liberals, those damn Obama fans or Hillary people, whatever, come on, people. It's theater. It says right there in the protocols. Government is theater and violence. When I look back on the various different royal families, if you want to call them that, and the families that survived over the years, fighting against each other throughout Europe and what have you, at least for those are the families we're talking about. But you have to realize that these people were damn bloodthirsty. It was very common for a king to sit there and watch his opponent get his head cut off. This was the sort of thing they did because it felt that, there, look at that, I'm watching you get your head cut off, ha ha, or I need to see this. Either way, there's something truly screwed with that person in the head. And these are the people that were running stuff, that are still claiming to be superior to the common people today. Well, we know who our enemies are. If you look at my platform that I wrote back before Trump was running, I think it was at 2015 or something like that. The first thing on the list, of course, is to tear apart the Federal Reserve and repatriate our gold. And where is our gold? It's in the vaults underneath wherever the Rothschilds keep it, somewhere in London. Well, this puts us at war with London. Now, we should have been at war with London ever since day one as this country was born, I'm sure. Well, to be honest with you, technically we have been at war with London since day one, because the Bank of London is the entity responsible for all of our conflicts with the UK. That's never gone away. Technically, I guess you could say that they've defeated us because their agents are running our economy. So, of course, these are the things that need to be fixed. I can certainly go through that list again, but you know that our priority is to occupy the Getty. Why do we want to occupy the Getty? Because we know that is the true seat of power right now, and we know that one revelation and acquisition will allow us to dismantle the entire structure of our enemy. Now, as you can see if you're paying attention, the speed with which we are able to do this is increasing quite rapidly. The number of people that are following these shows and tuning into connecting to the content in our YouTube group and various memes that are going out there is expanding very rapidly. I'll give you one example real quick. A while back, I told you I had a driver that delivers water from the bottled water service here, Arrowhead. And he walked up one day and said, "Hey, are you Stephen D. Kelley?" He recognized me. He was a listener. I said, "Yeah." Well, he's been my driver now for a while, or coming over here, and he came by the other day and he said that he was at the warehouse and he was chatting with one of the other workers there. And the other worker said, "Hey, me and my wife were listening to this guy, Stephen Kelley. Have you ever heard of him before?" And he's like, "Are you?" So, yeah, I deliver water to the guy. Now, I don't know about you, but, out of 7 billion people or however many people speak English in this world and are capable of, using a phone or a computer or whatever to listen to these shows, to me, when I think that we are supposed to have this tiny amount of people that are actually listening to this stuff, the fact that two of them would work at the same little warehouse and listen to the show and not have any, interaction about that, they just independently became fans. To me, that blows me away and suggests, just, mathematically speaking, that the odds of that are kind of slim. And it would suggest that there's a higher percentage of people out there that are following what is being said here.
Oh, well, I guess this is me right now. Right, so welcome everybody to the one and only TruthCat Radio Network with Dr. King Kelley as your guest, owner, producer, Dr. Stephen D. Kelley Show. www.truthcatradio.com. Today is Thursday, August the 22nd, 2019. We started at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Very grateful to you for joining us tonight. TruthCats are broadcasting from LA, California. It is so good that you are with us tonight, today, just now. This is a live interactive radio program, meaning you could call on the second hour to Dr. Stephen. So if you got a pen, pencil, paper, or online, please write the number. It is 714-598-3125. 714-598-3125. We have to mention immediately right now, hashtag Occupy the Getty, Twitter at @1StephenDKelley. Yes, we the people rise up to demand to order the Marine Corps to be called to occupy the Getty, to liberate the pedo facility and rescue the child sex slaves under the Getty Center in LA and worldwide bunkers. Please, universe, shut down the elite mafia, free our sex child slaves and return them to the surface. Also, liberate enslaved humans, free high-tech medicine, clean environment, and clean Fukushima. The Getty petition closed yesterday with 968 signatures. Order Marines to rescue the child sex slaves under the Getty Center in LA, California, Santa Monica Mountain. Child rape by the elite must stop on every level. Billionaires use corrupt government officials to enable the theft of children for horrible abuse. Bunkers, islands, and museums are used to hide these crimes. The NSA has no reason to claim that the bunker under the Getty Center in LA is part of our continuity of government. We demand that this structure be entered, and that our children are rescued, and that all the pedophile filth be removed from here and evermore, and the rest of the bunker system under the control of the NSA. Public displays about fighting pedophilia mean nothing if the elite is allowed to walk. Hashtag Occupy the Getty. Thank you so much for those strong to have signed this. All right.
Keep going.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah. Have we mentioned that the TruthCat radio broadcast is entirely listener supported? Yes, I think we have to remind everybody and new listeners that Dr. Kelley is 100% supported by you. Thank you for the highly appreciated contributions, donations, presents, and memories. If you are able to click to help him out financially, contribute to his operating budget, please go to the website www.truthcatradio.com and click on the support fund and throw some few dollars his way. Also, you could help via PayPal account. PayPal is StephenKelley714@gmail.com. StevенKelley 714@gmail.com. And if you do so, please be so kind to say it's for a friend and family in order to receive your entire dollars. If you need to get that information, it is on the main page, under the button that says support us. We are very grateful to you for supporting his efforts. Please, might you want to email him? The email is law17gun@aol.com. LAW17GUN@AOL.com. But please do not use PayPal account email for any correspondence. The PayPal is StephenKelley714@gmail.com. Mother,
right, I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. All right, I'm going to see who's out there. The first half of the show just got kind of wasted, so we're just going to wing it here through the rest. But I'm going to just go over the petitions really quick, the new level of petitions, just for the listeners and whoever's left. Obviously, the first one is our new Getty petition. As I said, this time around, I'm being more blunt and using harsher language. So, the new Getty petition, which is not anything close to the original one, is called Occupy the Getty. And the text is, stop wasting time and free the child sex slaves now, send in the Marines, remove NSA Templar Bilderberger residents, and return the child sex slaves to the surface. Do it now and do not ignore this. Obviously, I am talking to Donald Trump, who talks about bullshit like Greenland, tunnels in Greenland. The deep state is hiding in tunnels in Greenland. Really? The same tunnels they made during the Cold War out of ice? Is the deep state hiding in the ice tunnels? Not the, luxurious ones under the Getty? Fucking ridiculous. This shit that people believe. Anyway, I have another petition here. Started September 20th. It has 49 signatures. It's to prosecute Felix Sater and remove his federal protection, and it goes like this. Justice Department deals allowed known con man, Russian mafia criminal to avoid prosecution for massive fraud and theft. This allowed, oh, look at this. I've got an error in here. Of course, I always find it later. Who cares? This allowed him to continue his crimes, investigate Bayrock and Casbay BV for evidence of his illegal dealings. All those involved with his sweetheart deal need to be investigated for abuse of the law to protect criminals for further criminal enterprise. Sater needs to be locked up now, not pretending to be James Bond. By the way, the Occupy the Getty one has 116 already, so that's not too bad for one day, which shows you we have a little energy going here. There's another one here that's doing pretty well, actually, and it is the Epstein money laundering operation needs exposure, also started August 21st. And it goes like this. Locate and reveal the names of every billionaire that hid money with Jeffrey Epstein's offshore financial services. Seize all assets found and repatriate those funds to the U.S. Treasury. Prosecute every client fairly as if they were normal citizens and not billionaires who are above the law. Now, that's got 105 signatures. And here's another one. It's only got 54 signatures so far, but that's not too bad. And it's investigate any Americans involved in Hong Kong syndicate. Now, of course, the reason why I'm doing this is because if you have been paying any attention, you know there's a whole lot of crap load of stuff going on in Hong Kong right now, but if you know anything from the Felix Sater show, you'll know that's also the center of all the Chinese mafia. So it shouldn't surprise us that they're trying to pull a stunt like this involving Donald Trump. But anyway, as I've told other people, every one of these petitions is designed to target a specific point in a structure. This one being all the people that can be implicated. Now, obviously, we're just trying to shine a light in the place that they don't want light shine. But this one goes like this. Stop mafia raping our economy and investigate every American involved. Investigate 88 Queensway Group, Hong Kong, and Sam Paw, and all those who have had any contact. End offshore banking and forbid any American from using their letterbox companies, shell companies, and other means hiding stolen money. Forbid Americans from ownership of foreign-based casinos. Forbid any casino from political contributions or anyone with equity in a casino to hold any public office. Now, I don't know if any Trump people are paying attention to that, but obviously Trump has equity in casinos. But this should go without saying. I don't know how anyone ever thought that casino owners were reputable people that let alone should exist, but certainly people that own casinos should have nothing to do with government or influencing government with donations. It should be off limits. But hey, that's another petition. But anyway, those are 4 petitions, and obviously the idea of these petitions is to harass. And you also have to understand, even though there's 29,000 or whatever people in the group, there's only so many of them that need to be hang on a second. There's only so many of them that need to actually be active. All right? Because the point is that we appear stronger than we actually are because we're not as cohesive as we would like to be. Obviously, we'd like to be more cohesive, and that's certainly the reason why I'm doing this show, is to try to tell people that we need to become less individualistic and more inclined to become involved in things that are greater than ourselves. And great leaders throughout time have recognized this, such as Napoleon. Others have gone in the other direction, such as the people that came up with John Bull. Should tell you something, the name right away. Anyway. Well, as you know, I'm kind of tired of fighting. Look at that, it's only 8 o'clock. And you can see that, in certainly those of you that are in my Facebook group can see that I'm obviously lost a lot of patience with people. And I think that this is also part of the shift. You know, we've gone through a shift here. And as I've told you on a show here not too long ago, I need people to step up and take over and let me go in deeper directions. You got to do this yourself. Somebody made a comment in Facebook in the group, of course, you know, it was a newbie, or I don't know what they were, but they said something like, I thought you were supposed to be here to help us learn. I'm thinking, help you learn, as if you're learning by yourself and all I'm doing is nudging you along the path. It's absolutely preposterous. I don't see anybody else out there talking about the Getty. I don't see anybody else out there with a better plan. I do see buffoons, billionaire buffoons, who act like John Bull, dividing the country up, pointing fingers at stupid targets when allowing criminals to steal the country blind. Isn't that what's happening here? Oh, that's right. You can't see it happening. You can't even figure out what it means to have a $1.101 trillion deficit. How would you be able to notice anybody stealing our country blind? I mean, they've already stolen $22 trillion from us. They've stolen more than that. They've stolen 9,000 something % of all the money that we can even imagine. They've already stolen from us. Of course, they're going to give it back a little bit and tell you it's a reset. It's a reset. Wait for your reset. Free lunch coming. Wait for the pain. Anyway, guys. All right, I need some help in here. Brian, get your butt in here. Oy, RD. Seriously, I'm over it here. Blah, 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 blah. Who do we got here? Brian, you're yellow, of course. Brian, what's going on here? I know I got a few listeners. Let me say hi to some of the listeners. See if I chased you guys all off here. Yeah, oh, we got a few. Okay. I did want to say hi to Romania. Romania's been here for a while. I don't see you here too often. Hey, is that Bob? Hey, yo, Bob.
Hey, how are you?
I'm just happy
Let
now.
me turn down my radio.
You always wait till you get on the air before you do that. Dude, you're supposed to do that before you get on the air. My God.
Yeah, I know.
You got to learn. It's not like you've never been on the radio before. It's like, hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Am I too loud? Yes, you're on the air.
Oh, God. Yeah, you know what?
You're one of those people.
I should be at the Rolling Stones concert right now, but...
Oh, no, look at you.
Times.
Dropping.
You know, I'm 60. Well, I'm 60, almost 68.
Yeah. And
it's just tough to fight. I'm not worried about it. It's getting out of there.
Yeah, the traffic and all the
crazy.
They're all pumped up and they all want to fight, huh? Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's crazy. Anyways, I said to myself, I'd rather be
you gave up a chance
home talking to Stephen D.
I know.
Anyways,
you could have had that.
John Bull thing was great.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm sorry that I got screwed up there. I kind of lost it, but see, the thing is that all this stuff, like I said at the beginning of the show, it's damn download. I mean, just like the whole John Bull thing, that just came out of nowhere today. All right, and I didn't even realize why until I saw a picture of John Bull that looked exactly like Trump, and I said, "Holy shit!" And it all clicked. Well,
So there I go on my looking at him and Googling him. And then going to images. And there were literally dozens, hundreds, I don't know how many images.
Shitloads, huh?
With captions.
And some of them are very vulgar and racist and everything you could imagine. You notice that?
Yes, but that was the internet of our time.
That was the internet of our times. That was the TV of our times. That was the everything back then.
And I remember when I was a little kid and I used to go to the Saturday matinees, they had these newsreels in black and white. Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, and here we are.
Yeah. Sure. Go ahead.
I mean, could you believe that? And then, of course, we saw the Batman and Robin, serials. And growing up with Captain Kangaroo.
Your
Father Knows Best.
Yeah, you keep saying that. You really miss those shows, but...
No, how we were programmed.
You're right. It's programming. It's totally programming. But that's the point. If you can look at, let's just say John Bull, this has been going on since 1712, 1710, whatever, and look at everything that's happened since then, and look at how this character, because you can see in the images how the characters matured over time to be used for different political purposes and stuff. You can see by the nature of the cartoons how things turned out. Obviously, we know how Waterloo turned out. Rothschilds took over England. I mean, that wasn't exactly a victory for England. That was kind of a major screw up, but it was facilitated with the help of the mass media, which at the time was the periodicals and shit that they printed that had crap like John Bull. Because remember, most of these people were stupid, gin-swilling laborers, and they looked at the funny pictures and somebody told them what the little characters were trying to say. They recognized who the bad guys were, little Boney, of course, being Napoleon. They go, look at that John Bull kick little Boney's ass. I'll teach you to mess with John Bull. You know what I mean? What do we have today? We got, MAGA, man, Trump will kick their ass. Yeah. Same thing. Just as stupid.
Well, what was really bad was after 9/11/01, with all the American flags coming out. Now, I just knew something was wrong, and everybody screaming USA, USA. They were ready to go to war.
Well, yeah, but that's right. And you see, that's another point. I'm glad you brought that up, because this is really the art of war. And in the art of war, one of the greatest lessons, and I keep bringing this up, is the concept of a false flag. The concept of a false flag comes from Sun Tzu and the art of war. And what people don't realize is that the purpose of the false flag isn't just to cause terror and do all this stuff, but it's to unite the population and make them go from individuals to a united front, which is what we're talking about today. So what I'm doing right now is the art of war. I'm trying to cause you all, listeners, to think twice about yourself and your personal needs and think more about what we can do working together. In this case, of course, obviously it's save the world, occupy the Getty, and stick your neck out and do what needs to be done and not worry about your own skin. Because it's like Napoleon said, you know, if you're trying to get somebody to risk their life, they're not going to do it for money and they're not going to do it for a rank. They've got to do it for something inspirational that's bigger than themselves, that has stirred their emotions. And that's what the
What
art
about
of
the Hong Kong protesters?
the Hong Kong
Aren't they doing
protesters
that now?
bullshit. No, that's bullshit. That was the other point that you completely missed, dude, when I said the petitions, the Hong Kong mafia. First of all, the Hong Kong protesters are organized by the same sort of people that do Antifa and everything else. That is an NGO. That is American money that goes over there and screws up the country, just like we did in Ukraine, et cetera, et cetera. And you think, why would they do that in Hong Kong? Well, obviously, Hong Kong is the base for the entire damn Chinese mafia. Hong Kong mafia, the same syndicate that controls North Korea, Donald Trump, the Caribbean, the Russian mafia, et cetera, et cetera. This is the epicenter of all this mafia activity. They want this territory to their own. They want to get rid of the Chinese government so they can turn it into a total floating Las Vegas, because that's what it is.
Macau, yes.
Not just Macau. They have a whole new bit of real estate called Cotai. And on the island of Cotai, which is pretty much reclaimed land, it has its own airstrip and everything, completely offshore. They have built every single ridiculous mega casino you can imagine. And this is all mafia, 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 mafia. And this is all Donald Trump and Casbay and 88 Queens Bay group and all these Russian mafia and all the entire damn thing. It's all right there. So, of course, they want to seize control of this territory, just like they want to seize control of Greenland, or Greenland, of course. They go, oh, it's got strategic resources. Well, yeah, I'm sure Denmark feels the same way and is very happy about owning it. Where the hell did we get off thinking that we could buy it, and we get all pissed off when we say the idea is absurd? I mean, here's an example of how bad the media is.
Yeah, didn't
he goes to Norway.
We could trade Puerto Rico for it.
Fuck this shit. Come on, man. It's not. This is a modern globe. We don't do that stuff anymore. This is not the 1800s. You know, it's ridiculous. It's absurd. It doesn't happen, especially when we know that people that would be involved in facilitating such deals would be prone to being extorted, threatened, et cetera, et cetera. Come on, we're talking mobsters trying to make deals that you can't refuse. Yeah. That's what he's doing to them. And I've been telling people, gee, this fucking Danish prime minister that told Donald Trump his idea was absurd, how long is she going to live? You know, and people go, oh, that's crazy. Why would you say such a thing? Really? How do you think the NSA works? I mean, my God, this is why they listen into people, so that they can get dirt on you, so that they can make you do what they want, like sell countries, you know, stupid stuff. And this is incredible. Now, again, as I pointed out, the latest thing to come out of this whole Greenland nonsense is that, and this came out just today, is that they're reminding everybody that there's an old Cold War bunker built up there in the snowpack, you know, like 20 feet deep in the snow. Yeah, that's a bunker. And they're saying that this is a hideout for the ultra elite, the what do they call them? the deep state. Deep state is hiding in Greenland in this bunker. We better invade Greenland. Really? Who comes up with this crap? Well, anyway, as I've said, anybody that's seen the photos of the facility that was built in Greenland knows that it's just a bunch of channels cut out in the snow that had some, what do they call that, Quonset hut material stuck over the top, and then they let the snow cover it. It's all it is. It's not the Getty. It's not the Getty. It's not 200-foot diameter tunnels dug for hundreds and thousands of miles, with a mile deep. No, not at all. Not even close. It's just like when they were trying to tell us, oh, Epstein tunnels. Really? Really? Tunnels on a tiny, tiny little island versus tunnels on a continent. And now we're supposed to focus on tunnels in the Arctic? My God, when are you going to start talking about tunnels on the mainland like the ones that are running from all our bases back and forth that are run by the
Oh, boy, that's amazing.
It's like,
yeah.
What's going to happen? And the people that can't see that our own government is responsible for doing this stuff are in just absolute denial. And the only way you can get their attention is by promising them money, gold, economic reset. Oh, and then there's the idiots that go, yeah, we're going to buy Greenland and we're going to cash in on all the lithium. And it's like, really? God, people. The greed is insane. Okay, Brian, go ahead and say hi. Says Bob has been says Bob. Yeah. Okay, Bob. Brian's going to say hi.
Okay, the only thing I say to people now, I go, if you think Epstein Island is a slum compared to the Getty Center.
Well, that's the slum.
I'll let Brian go in.
It's an outhouse.
Slum.
Epstein Island is an outhouse compared to the Getty Center.
Yeah, that's very good. Okay, let's let Brian talk.
Yeah. Hey, Brian.
How's it going?
Oh, well, I've just been losing my cool daily, but
it was a nice little intro. I liked all the quotes.
Oh, you like the Napoleon stuff? Yeah. I didn't find a quote I was looking for, but some of those are pretty cool.
No, but they're always fun to kind of get into the mind of somebody else, what they were thinking.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously he thought religion was a good deal, and we know when you say religion, you could replace that with some sort of spirituality. I mean, obviously religion and morality is supposed to keep people in line and give them fear of God and help them become cohesive. So I think that what he was really saying was that it's necessary for people to share a similar faith so that it makes it easier for them to bond.
Right. I mean, at this point, like, religion's just, not that it was originally a bad thing, it's just used now to control people. It's not, to me it divides, but that's here and right there.
It's used. It's used to divide, but it's from a polarity standpoint, yeah, it can be used for that, sure. Certainly.
But I agree with you on the China thing.
Yeah.
That kind of came up out of the blue to talk about something else. Seems like every time you start pushing the Getty, they come up with some crazy shit to get people all worked up and off of what you're trying to talk about.
Yeah, the very fact that they came out with that whole business with the tunnels in Greenland or Iceland, it's like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I saw that. I just skipped right past and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I've heard that before too, though.
Yeah, really, huh? It's crazy shit, huh?
But yeah, I mean, okay, so there's tunnels in Iceland. There's probably tunnels all over the place. But what about our tunnels?
That's the thing. Okay, and then this is what really got me is today one of these silly people. Oh, here's RD. Made a comment on my page, and it was, of course, they were sounding like Q, and they go, "Why is Hussein going to Iceland? Or what's the reason for Hussein?" And first of all, when you make a statement like that, that's like first saying Hussein is going to Iceland, and the very fact of saying Hussein and not former President Obama or whatever the fuck, it's like, come on, who talks like that? Q people,
right.
Ooh, Hussein. It's supposed to be derogatory. I mean, first of all, I see no reason for Hussein to be going to Iceland. And first of all, do they even have a damn airport? Have you seen Iceland? Have any of you even looked at Iceland? There's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's a couple tiny, tiny little bits of civilization, but it's not like Greenland. Greenland is very, very sparsely populated, but Iceland is, oh my God, it's like a desolation city. Where, how are you going to get there? And it's like, why would Obama go to Iceland? It's absolutely crazy. I can't even believe that such a thing would even take place. It's like, really? He's going to go hide out in a secret base under the ice? Give me a break. It's like,
why doesn't he just go to Antarctica?
I mean, are those guys exactly? I mean, the point is, it's like, gee, we're supposed to be afraid of people that have to hide under snow because the people that hide a mile deep in the $1 trillion bunkers tell us so. Really? Who's the bigger threat? It's like, really? Is that rat now hiding under the snow trying to get away from you, and we're supposed to think that's important?
As lame of a job as they are doing with it, you've got them using your narrative words. It's lame, and it's totally absurd.
It's hilarious.
It's what I've trying to avoid all the distractions for so long. Man, you're gaining some momentum. All I see right now from Facebook, because I'm not there, are the notifications in my email. And I have to dump my email regularly from the people trying to join. And I've been mod and seen that for how long, how many months, years that I've done it off and on. And I've never had to do it like that. That's a big difference. Plus what you're talking about tonight. The John Bull thing was it was so spot on. It was amazing because I'm a big fan of the Crown never gave up control of the colonies. I forgot about the John Bull stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, but, Uncle Sam and John Bull. Mm-hmm.
But you've got them using your narrative operative words. Tunnels under where? That right there. There's an implant right there. They're using the words we've been using, and they're trying to, fluff them off. And
yeah. Make it look pathetic.
It's not going to work.
It's the Streisand effect.
You're talking about this shift stuff that I've been telling you ever since Mother's Day. I don't know if it's temporal displacement or I'm running out of words, but we're in a better groove on the record. You know what I mean? So if it's a timeline thing, we improved our position or something. I don't know. But
we're on the downward of the curve. Yeah.
Like the little engine that thought he couldn't or could get up. Once he got up to the peak, now it's going the other way.
Mm-hmm. Picking up speed.
Yeah, but I've been pretty good at avoiding most of the distractions. I got, garden work to do, and I'm quitting smoking, and I need a head.
Wait, I'm sorry. What? Quitting? Excuse me. What? Huh? What?
Well, you remember I used to only smoke about maybe a pack or two a week.
Oh, cigarettes. Okay.
And so I finally said, F it, and stopped buying them, and it's more habit than nicotine. So I fool myself by rolling, shake up and stuff.
Does the wife smoke cigarettes?
No, never did.
Oh, good.
So and it's working. It's been a little over a couple of weeks, and once in a while I feel like I could use a head to bite off, but then we got Gordon Getty, and Evil RD's out there doing something. What? I don't know. I sent him off.
We haven't needed Evil RD yet, but we've been. You see, that's a whole nother thing.
Well, see, I'm not in there, so I don't know what's going on. Once I get to that, I don't go there to screw it up. So until I get the word, you're not doing it.
I don't. They haven't tried to put me in Facebook jail. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Oh, well.
And look, they left me out of Facebook jail, and they had 3, false flags almost immediately.
Yeah, I remember that.
So they're trying to change their playbook, if you will.
Yeah, but you've got them. What? It's subtle.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
You've got them. They've picked up, and are now they're admitting the words like, "Well, the deep state's hiding." When did they use the term deep state? When did they use the term tunnels? The underground.
They use words like Bilderberger now. Did you see that? Donald Trump saying Bilderberger.
Yes.
Bilderberger saying Bilderberger. Oh, the Bilderbergers are hiding in Greenland. Really?
Yeah. So the words out there enough now. They're going to try and do the same old blame, like, well, this is what we meant by it. Bullshit. It's like you said about these islands and bunkers, stuff like that. They're all like ghetto land compared to the Getty. You know, I mean, they're the suburbs. You know, they're nothing compared to what we're going to find down there.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why they're trying so
everything they can to dissuade us from even looking, and they know it's coming. They already know it's coming. They're just trying to delay it.
I swear we're going to see them really open something up that everybody's going to go, oh, wow, like the Greenland ship. Do you know how long we've been up in Greenland?
Well, you know what?
We've been up in Greenland for...
This is the thing that kind of gets me. Okay, it's like the truck driver when the truck driver said, "Yeah, you're going to get really big" or whatever. You know the plan. You know what I'm trying to do here, and you know where it has to go. So even if my ideas get out there, ultimately I still have to continue and tell people what to do afterwards. You know, I hate that sounds really bad, but it's like I don't want to do that for very long. I want to do it long enough that it needs to be done and get the hell out. You know, but yeah, right. I mean, it's like I don't want to pass this down or make a career out of it. I just want to fix.
I want to get back to, you know, going to sleep at night and wake up with a smile and saying, okay, we don't have to look over at the film.
Not having to fight every day.
Oh, yeah, just to breathe.
yeah, smell the flowers. But
oh God, talk about keeping up with the yard work and the gardens coming in. I mean, you know, like I said, I got tomatoes coming out our ears.
But RD, the point I'm trying to make here, we just get. I love the tomatoes. I got some. I wish I had some. But the point I'm trying to make is that the message I get from like these truck drivers when they say, "Oh, you're going to get really big and all that." What to me that doesn't mean just I'm going to go on speaking tours and yada yada.
There's something.
It means what you and I, you know, what I mean, and when I see. Because, well, it looks like, who's this? Probably Diane. This whole concept of taking over, it's so when it's that screwed up and people are walking around with no hope, that's all you can do. And it's just like Napoleon said, the most important thing you can do is give hope. And if you look at, you know, Trump's so well, he's blowing it.
You give really good historical context that it's kind of undeniable. I mean, history does repeat itself, but like, something I'll agree with them. I can't pin down to what it is. You know, I get really close and all of a sudden it's like a portal with a green aura glow around it, you know, and I don't know what's going on, but something, you know, we're really heading there. I mean, he's got so many things going, whoever he is or whatever he's up to, really, that people aren't going to back down from. I mean, he's going to have to come through somewhere. And but something else.
Yeah, but there's one of the things that people are getting the most dissuaded with is his embracing of Israel. And there's a news item that just came out, which certainly is just ridiculous, bad politics from his standpoint. But that is, he pardoned a big Chabad mafioso person with a long beard and black hat and the whole 9 yards.
I saw
pardoned that guy. And it's like, really, mother? You know, if that's not showing that you are Chabad, I don't know what else does. And certainly he is beholden to the Rebbe. Somebody said, Donald, you will release this one. And he did. And now I see Trumpers going, gee, why is he so beholden to Israel? We don't get that.
Yeah,
and it's because they don't realize he's Jewish.
And I also noticed that
you know what I'm talking about.
That great amount of support that he does have are kind of more common sense thinking people than the liberals, and they're kind of going,
here's a good one. This
is good, but I still say the people are more motivated.
Okay, he just got in trouble right now for supposedly saying anti-Semitic remarks. Okay, maybe you heard about that. And what did he say? He said that Jews should be ashamed of themselves for voting Democratic ticket.
Yeah.
And people go, oh, that's anti-Semitic. And he's like, what?
What?
He's like, how is that anti-Semitic? And it's true. It's first of all, it's not anti-Semitic. It's ridiculous. But what people don't understand is that the guy saying that is Jewish. And this is why he feels it's okay for him to say that. but it's him slipping. And then in his mind, he's like, my fellow Jews should be behind me and not behind these scum. I don't understand that, right? That's basically what he's saying there. And then people are going, oh, that's anti-Semitic. And he's like, what? It's anti-Semitic for wishing that my people would back me and not these losers?
Well,
how's that anti-Semitic, right?
I can see having a different opinion, saying, okay, well, I don't agree with you on that, but stay coherent. It's like, I swear, you know, I hear the word racist come up, and I have to go back and I go, we're in that hole. What the hell there was nothing in there. Race. Let's see. Race has to do with, I guess, genetics. There's only one race, the human race. After that, you're on your own. I don't want to hear about it. But, you know, I get what the whole rub had absolutely nothing to do with genetic background. I'm going, where did races come out of this?
Well, yeah, you're right. It's just dumb.
And there's so many of them doing it that, and that's another thing I kind of noticed.
But this is what happens when you play both sides against each other, and you play one side against itself, and they're doing this so much. It's like having a black hat and a white hat, and flipping them back and forth between different people. And you forget which one's wearing what color hat at any given time. And you go, wait a second. Oops, did I mean to have the black hat? Oh, you're supposed to have a white hat at that moment. Oh, oops, that kind of thing. Well, this is the nature of what they do, though. This constant finger pointing is the key to their polarization.
Yeah.
All right, hang on. Guys,
I want to say something very brief. Okay, here's a quote. It would be very embarrassing to America if we accidentally elected for president the murderer of JFK, which is Bush Sr., then a sex-crazed pedophile, which is, of course, Mr. Clinton, then a son of the murderer, baby Bush, then a gay Muslim who hated America. I am glad that never happened.
Wait a minute. Who said this?
Well, it's Q with 4 pluses. At John Graham Dick 1, which is supposed to be JFK Jr. I don't know.
But you can interchange Bill Clinton with the Trump. It's practically the same thing. And here's something else I want to just say.
Right, a pedophile. Yeah, you're right. With the pedophile.
We know that Bill Clinton certainly was flying tons of cocaine into Mena. We know George Bush was involved in this on both levels of the family, and we also know that this guy that flew large amounts of cocaine from Florida to New York lives in the same building as Donald Trump. So along with all these other mafiosos. So when people say, Trump doesn't do cocaine, I'm thinking, wait a minute. Trump totally hung out at Studio 54 with his buddy, the gay attorney, who fucking probably snorted more cocaine than who knows what. Right?
That picture of him and Epstein. There's that great picture when they were both younger of a young Trump with Epstein. Come on.
You can't tell me these guys were not doing coke. And I can certainly understand, because I agree. I felt you're around it.
He drinks 12 Cokes a day. Of course he's doing coke.
Well, there you go. But no, seriously though, the cocaine, you don't have a guy that flies cocaine living on, a few floors underneath you just because, you think he's a nice guy. They have the hookup going on. That was his hookup. And when you're dealing in casinos, you're going to tell me that a casino doesn't know how to get its people cocaine when they need it. You ever go to a casino and say, hey, give me an 8-ball. Yes, sir. As you slip them an extra whatever, find me concierge. Concierge in Vegas will get you anything. It's proven by Sacha Cohn when he was asking for children.
Wow. Yeah. Now, dimensions of disclosures on tomorrow.
What's that? Disclosure. What are you talking about? You talking about
Ventura,
that? Oh, all right. I'm going to talk about that disclosure thing in Ventura. Okay, Bob, don't say anything now, because I'm coming down on that shit. All right. Now, the only reason why this has been pointed out to me, is because somebody has been sending me emails. Now, if it's you, Bob, I apologize, but this person's been sending me these emails, basically CCing me with messages going to Jordan Sather. There was at least 4 of these things that went through before I figured out what the hell it was about. And basically what this person was doing was trying to convince Jordan Sather that when he came out to Ventura that he should make the time to come and see me, because I'm an expert in all this tunnels and stuff, according to this person that was corresponding. And I don't really pay attention to that stuff, okay? Because first of all, Jordan Sather is not really my cup of tea, because I get him mixed up with SGT and Sean over there, who I know is COINTEL. Well, Sather's just as much COINTEL, but he's in my Facebook group. He's been there for quite a while. And during the time that he's been in my Facebook group, the QAnon group, he's never contributed. He's never tried to make a comment about anything or post anything like, this is what I think is going on here. Nothing like that whatsoever. Ever. He's been a wallflower lurker the whole time he's been there, which is bizarre. He's made no opportunity or made no effort to reach out to me if I'm supposed to be this person that you need to lurk close to learn.
Give
from.
him time. Give him time.
No, it's too late. Oh, you get it? It's too late. This is the point. I got a link to this event in Ventura. The disclosure, they use some key words. They call it dimension of disclosure. Right away, that's 2 bullshit words. Dimension is bullshit. We already know that's densities. Dimension of disclosure. That's just like, come on, suckers, give us your money. And then what do? They say, we've got CIA people and what have you. Okay, this is who they got. Corey Good, David Wilcock, 2 con men that are going to be indicted in the state of Idaho or wherever the hell it is that they ran their Gaia TV. Gaia TV is in big trouble because of those 2, and those 2 are going down, especially Corey Good. And I can't even believe they're working together, because Wilcock has been trying to separate himself from Corey Good. And the other thing is that the very fact that they're having to slum it in Ventura tells me that these guys are hard up, because they were not at the Conscious Life Festival, which is the largest metaphysical event on the planet. And yet here they are at this stupid thing in Ventura with Laura Eisenhower and, who's our CIA guy? Robert David Steele, who we also know
and
is
William Benny.
COINTEL bullshit. And this is the thing. Then what do I see? Jordan Sather. Now, first of all, what the fuck is Jordan Sather? As far as I know, he's just a guy that repeats stuff on YouTube that he thinks people need to learn about. And now I'm finding out that he's got some history. Turns out he's not so clean, and his father apparently is famous for something nefarious. I haven't found out what it is yet, but apparently he's got some dirt in his family tree. So we need to figure out, if anybody knows what that is, you might as well send it to me. But basically, if he has any integrity whatsoever, why in the hell is he prominently featured on a bill with such notable con men as Wilcock and Corey Good? I would never do that. I would never do that.
You know what?
Walk away from an event.
I don't want to defend them completely.
No, you're not.
They have
Rob,
given me some good. They've been giving me some good information.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
Just like you.
Don't go there. Even Satan gives the truth 50% of the time. So please don't go there. All right. You don't defend those guys, because for me, it's all out war. Corey Good is like, I always known he was bullshit, but the way they fucked up, and they fucked up because they started selling that stuff for money. The crap that they have, they sold it for money through Gaia. Gaia took subscriptions, and you cannot sell subscriptions to content that you're pretending is real and telling people it is real when you know that it's not real. And that's what got them. And this is why they're going to all go down. And this is why they don't get the big billing anymore, and they're running and hiding. And besides that, this is what's even more important, is that they are directly on the payroll of the Bilderbergers through none other than Michael Aquino and his bag lady, Terry Cassidy. Okay? They're paid off to distract people with bullshit and lead you down the rosy path of disclosure. when the real disclosure is under the fucking Getty. But you think they'd have me at this event? No, because A, I'm the real thing, not like this Robert David Steele bullshit. Where else do they have? What else do they have there? Experiencers. They're all full of shit, and every one of them is there to make money. And God bless little Miss Laura Eisenhower, you know, how sweet she is and all that. But come on, she makes it all up, every single bit of it. And at the very least, it's satanic, the shit she says. So come on. And Corey Good, I don't care if some of the stuff sounds plausible, but even if it was real, even if Corey Good was 100% true, and this is something you have to understand, is that the blue bird people are the bad guys. Bird people are bad, okay? Bird people are Anunnaki. That's what they call the bird people, the Anunnaki. There's no such thing as good bird people.
Oh, these were the blue.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Corey Good, Stephen. Corey Good, he claims to be a super soldier. He did these 20 and back and all that stuff. That's all MK Ultra horse shit. Those are memory implants to make him think that he didn't do any of that.
Fuck no. No. You got to remember, I run with all these people. Okay, I ran with all these people. I'm part of that shit. I'm first of all, I'm a bona fide, you know what, and I was part of all that super soldier shit with those guys in Henderson, Nevada, and all that crap that supposedly went down there with the damn Michael Aquino and all this shit. And you know what? Of course, Michael Aquino's involved in this shit. And of course, Kerry Cassidy's involved and all these people. And now that we know how bad it is, because trust me, I've seen it all the way from the top to the bottom. And it goes to all these little idiots in our industry, not just Will Koch and Corey Good, but people like Mike Ringley at Revolution Radio. He's corrupt as all fuck. He takes money from these guys. He's a big one. Randy Mogans is another pathetic one. He's totally connected to it. Oh my God. Then there's the whole Douglas Dietrich. He's connected to that shit. His handler, Lauren Fenton, is connected to all this shit completely. They're all dirty.
What about Bill Deagle? What about Deagle?
I don't know. And then there's that one that says that's supposedly dead, that supposedly died in the Tijuana hotel room, that used to call himself former White Hat. I don't even want to waste my time saying his name, but this guy's supposedly still alive, and he supposedly was responsible through the work of this entire group that I just named you here for getting someone killed who was trying to uncover all this crap. Well, it's all going to come out, and all these idiots like Kerry Cassidy and Wilcock and every one of these motherfuckers that took the Bilderberger money from idiot Satanist Aquino, they're all going to go down. And you got to guys understand this shit that I'm doing right here. It's not just to do radio shows. It's to like take everybody down and take over. And my magic is getting really strong. This is what you guys got to understand, because this is what it's all about. I keep telling you, the first one that learns how to have the really good magic is going to take over. And that's what I'm doing here. Every time I do a healing, every Saturday when I have a healing Saturday, you haven't even imagined how strong I get after every one of those Saturdays. Every Saturday I get stronger. You know?
Do you do it remotely or do
I do it remotely. They line up for me. I've already cured blindness. I've cured pneumonia twice. I've removed all sorts of infections from people's blood, fixed bones, straightened spines, moved people's faces around, got them to quit smoking, whatever. Got them to hear better, you name it, okay? Made their deep...
You know what? It would be just great if you could just lighten up on the delusion. It's real hard,
but this
negative energy putting down other people.
This is whipping and table tipping time. That's what that is, dude. These guys are ready to be whipped. If you haven't come on board my train by now, you're screwed. This is the problem with the mob right now. I have a big enough mob behind me to where I can do this. That's the thing. And by doing this, I clean out the mob. It's a filter, Bob. The only thing that's going to be left after I do that are people that are diehard supporters. Get it? And this is what I need. I need diehard supporters that move as one to scare the shit out of my enemy. And that's exactly what we've got here. And that is a powerful, powerful thing. Because when you do that, we can do great things, as I try to tell people. That's what we're doing here. We are much stronger than 100 monkeys. Okay? Our words and our ideas are manifesting to the entire world, whether they like it or not. And it's spreading like wildfire, and there's nothing they can do about it. So either you get on board or you get shunned. And that's the phase that we're in. Because those of us that are in the leadership now, we don't have time to rub elbows with the dirty, unwashed faces that haven't woken up anymore. We need to leave our lieutenants to do that work because we're too busy fighting the enemy now to help educate us. You understand, Bob? That's why I have no more patience for idiots, especially when I have to deal with people that don't know who the hell I am in my own group.
Stephen.
Yes.
Do you mind if, I don't know how long this rant's going to go on that you're talking about, but, I was looking up John Bull.
Yeah.
And I just thought, if you don't mind me interrupting, because you always say, stay with the topic, but I don't know, if I'm going to lose all this information that I've been putting together.
Okay, spit it out, go.
Okay. William Ball. That was John Bull's first name.
It's not a real person. He's a caricature.
William Ball. That was his name.
No, John Bull is a cartoon character. He's like Homer Simpson.
No, but William Ball was his name, okay? There's a history. And he's with the Bowers. I'm putting these together. The Bowers Group in Washington, D.C. I looked it up.
Now you're really screwed up because this is from England, has nothing to do with America.
No, look, England, America, these are I'm just saying this. Remember the concrete company and what they're into?
All right, try to get it out before I,
Okay. And then the pointing of the finger.
Okay.
Like Donald Trump's always pointing the finger. There's all these pictures of him pointing the finger. And John Bull, William Ball, is associated with Boys Town. And if you're on the internet...
Okay, I'm going to have to cut you off now because that's a tangent that's so just not connected. It's not even funny. All right, stop.
Really?
Yeah, stop right there. Okay, stop. You're only off by 300 years, okay? So just stop.
Well, no,
you're off by 300. They didn't start Boys Town in 1712.
No, but I'm saying this is all still... Do you know in Pennsylvania where I live...
She's trying to connect dots to a bunch of different stuff.
Honey, listen. There are so many men that I can name that I grew up with that fit the whole scenario of John Bull.
Character, huh? It's caricature. Got it.
It's not just a caricature. It's
an everything.
Life.
That's why when I say he represents... So Homer Simpson, he's like Archie Bunker. That's like saying Archie Bunker. Yeah, I saw Archie Bunker. Yeah, of course.
Right,
Archie Bunker's meant to be like that because there's a shitload of people out there just like that. It's like, hey, come on. Bundy. Bundy. Al Bundy, Archie Bunker, John Bull, Homer Simpson, take your pick. Everyman. It's the rude, crude slob everyman that we all, that's us. But you see, that gets back to that whole individual thing, right? We're banding behind this caricature that represents a low down trodden individual who's secretly a tough bastard who'll kick your ass, yada yada, doesn't give a shit what you think. That's us. That's all of us.
It also had Mysterious Island.
Well, come on. Now you're getting really carried away.
I looked up John Bull under Wikipedia. Wikipedia.
Stop, okay? you're going off in another direction I don't want to waste any time on. Okay, stop. Stop.
Well, it was interesting to me.
Stop. Okay, great, but it's not connected. Okay, fine. I want to end it pretty quick here anyway. Let's see, who haven't I really got to? RD, you, let's see. Don't you have a good prayer for me besides this bullshit?
Me?
Who are you talking to?
Not you, her. You don't have a prayer for us, do you, RD?
All I hear is crickets.
Crickets. Hey.
Can you hear them?
Squirrels, not squirrels. What are squirrels?
Can't you hear the crickets? They're...
Oh, yeah, now I do. Oh, my God, they're loud.
I have one.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, hang on, RD. Oh.
Okay. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for sending your Son to shed his precious blood for our atonement, as our atonement. His blood gives eternal life. It brings redemption. It covers us. It justifies us. It makes us right. It grants us forgiveness. It provides cleansing. It reconciles us to God and enables us to overcome the world. Blessed be the name of Jesus. Thank you. If you want me to do more, I can read another prayer.
No, that's okay.
The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. So perfect, converting, wise, right, rejoicing, pure, enlightening. So those are the main words. Thank you, Jesus.
Okay. All right, guys, I'm ready to wrap this up. So let's get to our final words here, okay?
I'll say goodnight along with the crickets. It was a great show. Thanks for the info. Last week too, you talk about toxic distractions. I've been totally
toxic distractions I had earlier in the show, huh?
I'm just like so.
Maybe forget everything.
I go on maybe once a day to check and see highlights of what's going on, but for the most part, I'm just staying focused on every friggin' thing. And it's not crazy. You can sit there and go through it and tie it right back to, look, just get under the Getty and we put it all to rest. It's how effing friggin' simple can it be? Good night, folks. Great show. Hi, Diane, everybody. Glad to hear from you. I'm, still surviving and still here and rock on.
All right. Thanks, RG.
God bless.
You too. Bye now. Good night.
All right, Brian.
15 minutes.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not. Can't you tell I'm in a bad mood, Diane? I'm in a bad mood constantly. You guys are talking about, lighten up, be nice. It's like you guys see where we are. You're lucky I'm not cutting heads off. Come on, think about that.
We love you.
I mean, all right. Look, you think about these damn kings. I'm trying to tell you guys the contrast here. You look at these. Like I said, these medieval kings, they took joy in watching their enemies get their heads cut off. Come on, that's not me. But at the same time, I'm not.
Well, the gladiators.
I'm not screwing around.
We enjoyed that.
Well, we are going to change, whether you guys like it or not. The Matrix is going to change in such a way where that's not going to be around anymore. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Well,
so wouldn't you like to see a wrestling match between John Bull and Uncle Sam?
Nah, come on, man.
Sure, let's get some good
both
animation.
Those characters
people.
can be. We don't need that, man. We don't need that.
But John Bull, that's such a good character that you brought him up because he's all around me. When I was growing up, he was all around me. All my uncles.
See the cartoons, they're pretty foul, these characters.
It's a person. It's a person.
It's a person.
It's
Get out of here. Goodbye, Diane.
Oh, I love you.
You're out there in California.
Whoops, I sent the wrong person away. Oh, my God. I sent Bob away. Sorry, Bob. She thinks John Bull has something to do with Pennsylvania. Oh, no, God.
She's trying to tie a bunch of stuff together.
What part of it represents England and everything English? I don't know. Okay, whatever. I'm sure the influence permeates in different places, but it's so. The guy wears a damn Union Jack on his jacket. I don't think I don't think we see that in Pennsylvania. So, whatever. It's not a real person. It's never was.
Well, good show. I commend you for getting on here every week. And I think you should just...
Such is life.
Not react to some of these people. Let us do it. Because they're just looking to get a rise out of somebody when they say shit like that.
All right. Well, it's not hard to do anymore for me. But all right, guys. Do appreciate you coming by as usual and hanging out. Brian, take it easy. We'll talk soon, hopefully. And no stress. We'll figure it out. What is this? Is this? Let me see. 717. This is Diane. No, Diane. We're closing. We're not. I'm not putting you back in. Please, guys. All right. Anyway, Brian, take it easy. All right. I'll talk to you later. All right.
Good night.
Adios. Bye. All right, everyone. Again, I want to apologize for the shortened show or the disruptions, whatever, or completely losing my train of thought earlier in the show and going off on kind of stopping it abruptly right where we're at. But, such is life. And once again, I want to thank you for tuning in and listening to the Stephen D. Kelley Show at Truth Cat Radio. And if you do want to help us out, of course, the PayPal is StephenKelley714@gmail.com. And say it's for a friend or family so we get the whole thing. All right? Okay. Once again, thanks for tuning in. And good night. God bless. Adios. And goodbye.